The great artist, Pablo Picasso. Pablo Ruiz Picasso was one of the most influential and well-known artists of the 20th century. Pablo Picasso was a multi-talented artist who was widely admired and appreciated around the world. Picasso was born in Spain, but spent the majority of his life in France. Picasso became the most well-known name in modern art, with the most distinct style and eye for artistic invention, after co-founding Cubism in the early 20th century. Picasso astonished the world throughout his first 50 years, displaying his talent since youth. Let us learn more about this amazing artist, Pablo Picasso, by reading some intriguing facts about him. The original name of this great artist contains 23 words.
He was baptized as Pablo, Diego, José, Francisco de Paula Juan, Nepomuceno María de los Remedios, Cipriano de la Santísima, Trinidad Mártir Patricio, Clito Ruiz y Picasso.
Don José Ruiz y Blasco, Picasso's father, was also a painter. He was a painter, professor of art, and curator of a museum. He painted his first work, Le Picador, when he was 9 years old, depicting a man riding a horse in a bullfight.
Picasso's father stopped up painting when Picasso was 13 years old, seeing that his son was already a better painter than him.
He studied in the Royal Academy of San Fernando in Madrid when he was 16 years old. He quickly left out, because he did not want to squander his time in school. Picasso was born in Malaga, Spain, on October 25, 1881. Following the death of his sister in 1885, his family relocated to Barcelona. He did, however, spend the majority of his life in France. Picasso's first job was with Art de l'Opéra Ménage in Paris, where he earned 150 francs per month, about $750 today. Throughout his life, Picasso was involved with a number of women. He was thrice married, and had 4 children, with 3 different women. Picasso and Matisse were both influenced by the French artist, Paul Cézanne. Picasso admired Cézanne, and carried a revolver loaded with blanks at all times. He'd hurl it at those who made fun of Cézanne. Picasso was a huge animal lover. He had a turtle, a mouse, a monkey, and various dogs and cats as pets. When Leonardo da Vinci's iconic painting, Mona Lisa was stolen from the Louvre Museum in France in 1911, authorities apprehended Picasso's friend, the poet Guillaume Apollinaire, who pointed to Picasso as a suspect, and the police apprehended Picasso for questioning. Both were eventually released, once it was determined that they were not guilty. The modern art movement known as Cubism is credited to Pablo Picasso and Georges Braque, 1882 to 1963. Cubism transformed European art in painting, as well as spawning associated literary, musical, and architectural movements. The term Cubism, on the other hand, was coined by French art critic Louis Vauxelles. Picasso's Blue Period, which lasted from 1900 to 1904, was characterized by monochromatic works, in which he utilized exclusively blue or blue-green color. Picasso's Rose Period, which spanned from 1904 to 1906, was characterized by the use of orange and pink colors in his paintings. Picasso's African Period, also known as the Black Period, or the Negro Period, lasted 3 years, from 1906 to 1909. African sculpture and painting, particularly traditional African masks, had a profound effect on the time. The photograph depicts 5 naked female prostitutes at a brothel on Barcelona's Cara de Vino, Avignon Street. 2 people with African mask-like features are displayed on the right side. He wore an iconic white shirt with 21 horizontal blue stripes, reflecting each of Napoleon's victories, which was part of the official French Navy uniform. Good artists copy, great artists steal, Picasso once stated. Picasso created around 147,800 works during his lifetime, including 13,500 paintings, 100,000 prints and engravings, 34,000 drawings, and 300 sculptures and ceramics. Picasso in fact, was opposed to all forms of violence. He never enlisted in the army for any cause or country, and he never fought in World War I, World War II, or the Spanish Civil War. In his work, The Dream and Lie of Franco, 1937, he consistently denounced the dictatorship of Francisco Franco of Spain, and showed his displeasure with Franco's rule. Yes, Picasso, in fact, was a supporter of the communist system of government, not the Spanish communist dictatorship. He was a staunch opponent of all forms of dictatorship. He joined the French Communist Party after Paris was liberated from the Nazis in 1944. He applied for French citizenship in 1940, but was denied, due to his extremist ideals moving toward communism. Picasso attended the World Congress of Intellectuals in Defense of Peace in Poland in 1948, and the Soviet government awarded him the Stalin Peace Prize in 1950. André Breton, a surrealist poet and anti-Stalinist, broke his association with Picasso in the late 1940s after Picasso joined the Communist Party. "I don't approve of your joining the Communist Party, nor of the attitude you have taken concerning the purges of the intellectuals after the liberation," he said, refusing to shake Picasso's hand. Picasso dominated modern European painting for almost 25 years. His friends constantly proclaimed him to be the greatest living artist. He has multiple schools, museums, and art galleries named after him, in addition to automobiles. During his European tour in 1958, former U.S. President Harry S. Truman visited Picasso in France. Picasso's first long-term partner, Fernand Olivier, 1881–1966, was the subject of many of his Rose period works. Picasso, on the other hand, broke their engagement in 1912, leaving her penniless and without a claim to his money. In 1918, Picasso married dancer Olga Hoklova, his first wife. His marriage hit a snag, and he and his wife divorced. Picasso, on the other hand, did not divorce her, thus she was not entitled to half of his fortune. Picasso died on April 8, 1973, at the age of 91. He was the world's wealthiest artist at the time of his death. Two of Picasso's most important women committed themselves, and two went insane. Dora Maar, Picasso's girlfriend in the 1930s and 1940s, was one of them. She mentally shattered after Picasso left her for another lady and proclaimed, after Picasso, just God. Many of Picasso's works are among the most expensive in the world. In May 2004, his Garçon à la Pipe was auctioned for $104 million. His painting, Nude, Green Leaves and Bust, was sold at Christie's for $106.5 million on May 4, 2010. His second masterwork, Les Femmes d'Alger, was sold for $179 million in May 2015. "Drink to me, drink to my health," he said as his final words. "I'm sorry, but I'm not able to drink anymore." Family of Saltimbanques, La Vie, The Life, Portrait of Daniel Henry Canvala, Girl Before a Mirror, Le Rêve, The Dream, The Weeping Woman, and many others were among his significant works.